my best friends. Some people say we have a problem, but every night I make a new best friend. And the only problem is...
Hello. It is Thursday evening. It is 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It is another episode of Between Two Beards. Big one tonight. We got a big one tonight.
It is a big one. It's always a big one.
Yes,
That's what we do.
That is what we do. We have an extra special guest tonight that we will be bringing on momentarily.
Pop
but
that
first
on
and foremost,
pop that up real quick before we even pop that chat up there, Tim's chat right now. Let's stop the show. Hey Tim, if you paid attention, we announced
actually
last
watched
week
the show.
we now start at 8 p.m. Going forward, no more of this 8:30. You needed an extra half an hour of us, even though tonight we have to be done by 9 because of Quizplex. But anyway, JPJ, continue.
Yes. All right. Yes, we have a special guest. They'll be coming on momentarily. But first and foremost, Pluggo, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. It is cold here in the great state of Indiana, but we are making do. It's Thursday night. I spent the last week looking over my shoulder, admittedly. We'll get into that here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you worry, folks. We've got a response for Holden Albright. We pulled some strings.
You're going to throw me in the middle of something and get me hurt.
Gang warfare, son. Gang warfare. Sorry, bro.
Let's get the sponsorships out at the front here. We want to thank RK Athletics. As always, they've been a sponsor of Love Wrestling since the very beginning. Follow them on RK Athletics 1 on all social medias, personal training via virtual. If you're looking to get in shape or just improve your health, and that, they are the team to see. Great group of people there. So give them a follow. And then, of course, manscaped.com. If you go to manscaped.com, you put in the promo code LOVEWRESTLING, you will get 20% off plus free shipping. You've heard Pluggo and I for the last month or so. We've been touting this. I've been a customer of theirs for years. You know we love this stuff. We tell you every week how damn good their products are. Go to manscaped.com, throw in that promo code LOVEWRESTLING. Let them know we sent you there. Let them know you're digging this partnership, and you will get 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped.
Help us recoup some of that money.
Yeah. We don't want Spencer to be yelling at us every week, so help us get some money back, will you? But
I think he's going to yell this week.
Oh, he is. Because without further ado, you've seen us promoting it all week. She is here. We have one Billie Starkz joining us. We will bring her in right now. There she is.
She is. Welcome to the show, Billie. How are you?
I'm doing great. I feel like I should warn Spencer about the money.
As long as your check cleared, it's fine. See, what we do is we run it through the accounting department first, and he gets an invoice on his desk, and he yells at us on Friday mornings. Yeah. So you're fine. As long as the money's in the bank, don't worry about it. It's on us.
As long I live by the motto, it is always better to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. So we just kind of do what we do, and we, usually Friday mornings are a rough morning. We get yelled at to start our day, and then we somehow still have jobs the next week. So it is what it is. We survive. So
I live by the motto, you got to spend Spencer's money to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're excited to have you on, Billie. You are one of the top independent wrestling stars out there today, for my money, easily. So this is an honor. I haven't talked to you it's been about a year, so I'm glad you could come on. I know you did a little interview with me not too long ago. So thank you for coming on and blowing Spencer's budget.
Yeah. You want me to go? You want me to start?
Yeah, go.
What do you want to do? Anyway.
Sorry. Apparently.
I witnessed it. I think we witnessed it happen.
We
witnessed your brain just gloss over itself.
It just died.
It was just,
I got threatened last week.
That is true. We'll get into that. Hopefully we don't get Billie involved in this mess too much. But we'll get into that.
Anyway, take over.
I guess what I wanted to know right off the jump is like whether it was a match or a wrestler or a performer or a character, like what was the first time that you remember like falling in love with wrestling to the point where you became a fan of wrestling, and then to the point where you made the decision that like this is something I want to do?
So I've never like truly have figured out what the moment was for me. I was just introduced to wrestling by my stepfather who is Mouse, and he's a wrestling photographer.
Okay.
And I started off by watching NXT and like WWE when like Bailey and
Mm-hmm.
Finn Balor, and that was like my generation. And then I went to my first independent show, and I feel like that's when I truly connected with wrestling. It was a D1W show, and my favorite memory from it is Necro Butcher coming out barefooted, ripped jeans, and a trash can, and yeeting it across the Colgate gym. And I was like, this is great. I love wrestling.
Yeah. And did
We
you
love wrestling too. That's the name
We-
of the.
Yeah, we do. So when you went to that first independent show, like, was that when, like, the earliest you can remember being like, hey, this is something that, like, I maybe want to do? Or was that when you know, or when did that?
Like, even before then, I was
Okay.
just like, oh, as a kid, I was like, I don't have a plan or like what I wanted for like a job. This is the only thing that clicked in my head. I was like, oh, I want to do this for a job.
That's fair.
So I have to follow that up, and I have to ask. So, like, when I'm a kid, when I'm younger, I loved wrestling. You know, I watched it, and I always thought, how cool would it be to be a wrestler? You legitimately were like, Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do. How does that conversation go for you? Because you did it at such a young age that you got started, and you took it to the level you're at today, which is insanely. It's high. It's up there. You're killing it. So, how does that conversation go at home?
So my parents were always like super supportive of like whatever I wanted to do. So like my growing up, I was like, oh, I want to be an ice cream truck driver at one point. And that was
That'd be
because
badass.
I loved ice cream so much, because every time I was at my grandma's, she would give me ice cream. So that was like, oh, I could do this for other people. And then I started watching like Criminal Minds, and that became my addiction. And then I was like, oh, I want to be a criminal investigator. And then finally I got stuck on wrestling, and it hasn't changed. And then I found the opportunity of like getting trained, and I was very like skeptical myself when I first like thought about it. I was like, is this too early? Should I wait? And then I was like, okay, I can like at least ask about it, maybe go to a training, see how it feels. So after cheerleading practice one day, my mom picked me up, drove me over to the training school, and I was only supposed to watch, but my trainer was like, hey, do you want to get in the ring? And I was like, yes. And then I had the biggest smile on my face the entire time, and I was like, I'm not leaving. This is great.
What was the reaction when you took your first bump? Like, what was your reaction?
I honestly thought it was going to be so much worse.
Okay.
So, like, I committed to it fully because I was like, oh, people do this all the time. I can fall. And I did it. And I was like, okay, I expect this to be so much worse, but I can actually, like, fall correctly where it doesn't hurt. Because, like, even before I got into wrestling, I had 2 broken wrists. And I was doing cheerleading all the time, so I was getting kicked and landing on my neck wrong and this and that. So I was just like, oh, this is actually like not that hard.
I gotta ask, because you mentioned ice cream. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Ooh, chocolate chip cookie dough with like a drizzle of like chocolate syrup. It's just like it.
I can't argue that. That's fantastic.
I mean, chocolate chip cookie dough is a standard flavor, and it's amazing. It's always good. Ben and Jerry's.
If you don't like chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, I got some questions. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah, what's better than cookie dough? Like,
My friend doesn't like any of like the chocolate or like vanilla or very sweet. They always go for like the sherbet and fruity ice creams, and I don't understand it. I was like, how can you just dislike? This is like the traditional ice cream.
Yeah. It makes no sense. What is this?
Yeah, you
Don't get me
guys-
wrong. I love a good sherbet. I mean, sherbet's fine.
Yeah,
But like, it's.
but
not
you're not picking
It's not better
sherbet
than ice
over
cream.
ice cream. That's just
No.
fact.
No.
Yeah, sorry to all of our fans who thought we were gonna just talk hardcore wrestling.
No,
We're talking
all of our
ice
fans
cream
know
now.
by now.
They know
All of
by
our
now.
fans know by now that we're not going to talk. We will, but we'll talk about
Food, you got me. We'll talk about
food,
We get
movies,
derailed.
music, whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, Pluggo, keep going, brother.
Well, if I can't circle back to the wrestling, so like I said, you got started really, young in your career, and you've reached to heights to the point where you were PWI top 500s, 441st, and in the 150, 104. How did that come about? Is it like, because recently they just announced the Baseball Hall of Fame, so are you waiting by the phone for like your PWI call? How does that go for people that may not know that process?
So I just got notified, like it was just a Twitter DM, and they're like, "Oh, we're putting you in this," and then I didn't know much more. Like I didn't know where I was, and I was just like, "Oh, I'll just go see when like they finally release it," and I kind of hid it from like one of my parents. My mom knows because she has like access to my DMs, so I don't have to deal with weirdos. She deletes them, so I don't even see them.
That's smart.
Which is pretty great. I feel like I'm kind of blessed in that sense of being a wrestler because I know so many people who are like, this is the worst.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to
imagine.
Billy's mom for not thinking we're weirdos. Shout out.
But I just got the message, and then my mom saw it and I saw it, and then we didn't tell my dad, and he's one of the ones who's like, you better be ranked top 10 in your school and ranked top 500 as wrestlers. And
Yeah.
he was like, if she's not on the list, there's a problem. And we
Nice.
didn't tell him that we already knew. So he's waiting and making like absurd tweets. And we're like, okay, we got to shut you down. And then on my way to school that morning before they got released, I was like, oh, by the way, they told me I'm in it. He goes, you didn't tell me?
He's like, how dare you? How dare you not tell me that?
I wouldn't say
information.
I wouldn't be able to do that, as our fans know.
Oh, I would have been telling everybody. I'd be running down the street.
I was like,
I'd be
guys,
wearing just a white T-shirt with 441 on it. Yep, this is me. That's my number. I own this number now. But
and then, so that's just, they just DM you. They don't give you like, hey, you're in the run. They just go, boom, you're on it, and you just roll with it, huh?
Yeah.
Because I've always wondered that, because like the wrestlers, it seems that I follow on socials always seem to have their number before I've got the list, right? And they're posting about it. So I was curious as to if it's like a phone call thing, how big of a deal. Which list were you more surprised to be on? I don't think there was a shock on our end, but you're on both, and not a lot of women wrestlers can say they made both. So I think
Yeah,
cool.
I was very shocked to be on both. I would definitely say the top 500 because I feel like that's almost a harder list to get on because there's so many people included, but there's so many people in wrestling, and it's like there's so many people I hold at a higher level than I am, but somehow I was still part of like this top talent.
Well,
yeah.
Well, that's like, because if I can, I just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
That's because you have banger after banger of a match. It's always like high profile. Like you're wrestling Calvin Tankman either last weekend or this weekend. I'm sorry, I'm drawing blanks on. You got Diana Perazzo coming up in April. What's that like to be at the? I don't want to say inexperienced because I think you're vastly. I think people use that term too loosely. You have a lot of experience in the ring, but what's that like? It's somebody that maybe 10 years your senior that's not getting those matches, and you're getting like these just headlining each show you're at. It seems like you're getting big time matches. So what's that like?
It's also I think it's very like shocking. I didn't expect my career to grow as quickly as it did because I've been around wrestling before I got into a ring as a fan and then also as a photographer. So I would see how like people would struggle to grow in popularity. And I was like, oh, I won't go anywhere in like my first like year or 2 years. And then I'm here at like year 4, almost like at the top level independent wrestling companies. And it's very shocking, especially still dealing with like my age. And then I'm like, oh, this is kind of crazy because I feel like I'm like, it's weird to say I feel inexperienced. I feel like I have still so much to learn. And then I see people who've been doing it for like 10 years and they're still at like the beginning stages where they haven't like caught on to like the what's it called? Popularity boat? The bandwagon.
Bandwagon.
Yeah, I actually so you were also known as one time, I believe your name was it Pizza Cat Junior? Was that it? How did that name come about, and when did you decide, you know what, I'm gonna go with Billie Starkz. I'm gonna like, were you doing both at once, or were you that one first and then like how did that come? Because that's a name you obviously don't see in the wrestling circles that often. So
So I was Billie Starkz first. That's
okay.
what I debuted as. And I think I wrestled for like a year and a half. And then I was going to Bizarro Lucha, which was a company up in Indiana. And Shotzi Blackheart was the original Pizza Cat. She was wrestling as that character at Bizarro. And I was helping out one night and she looked at the promoter and was like, hey, she's always here, and the other kids that are booked don't help clean up. She needs to be booked on the show. And she basically gave me the Pizza Cat Junior gimmick. And I have like the old mask, and then I was told to come up with like the other stuff. And then I wrestled just as Pizza Cat Junior there for a while. And then it shut down. And now we're at the point where I'm like, oh, I'll sometimes do Pizza Cat because it helps me do like a different style of wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've created this character of Billie Starkz of like, oh, I'm very hard hitting. I can do some high flying and I drop people on their heads. Pizza Cat Jr. does lucha and is very fun.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, I had
Having
to
a
ask
wide
that one.
scope.
I was talking about it on the pre-show. I was like, Pizza Cat Junior. I need to know what that's about.
I didn't even know that. Honestly, I was like,
you
what
see
are-
this? I was like, I'm asking her about this.
I thought he was.
Honestly, the
I thought he
Pizza
was
Cat
listening.
gimmick, my favorite part about it is like the merchandise because I have a pizza box and it has a cat logo on it with the pizza behind it.
That's
And
awesome.
like when you open it up, I had scrunchies inside of like red and yellow and magnets and pictures. And I was like, this is cute.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Merch has always kind of been your deal, like Big Stark's brand. I was talking about it off air with JPJ. You guys have got quite a good thing going there, and I think I just listened to an interview recently where you called your stepdad, if I'm correct, the LeVar Ball of wrestling.
Yes.
And how did Big Stark's brand come to be, and how cool is that for you to see that on like AEW Dynamite with the Dante Martins and Calvin Tankman's a part of it, and Alex Kane, who we'll talk about here shortly, is on that.
It's very shocking because it all started as a joke. So like during the quarantine and like the height of COVID, we were all shut down. We couldn't go to wrestling. I couldn't wrestle, and I was like, I hate it here. I was still lucky enough to like go train. I still had access to my training school, but it wasn't the same as like wrestling in front of people. I was like, I want shows again. And my dad saw that I was going through like a little bit of like a depression. I was like, I'm sad. I want wrestling. And he just was like, oh, I'm going to make a joke to make her smile. And if you don't know who LeVar Ball is, he is the father of the Big Baller brand.
Genius.
And he is a very outrageous man, but he's very entertaining, and he definitely loves his children. So he posted on Twitter that he was the LeVar Ball of wrestling, and I was Mello, and people just like thought it was hilarious, and I thought it was funny. And someone in the comments was like, oh, Big Stark's brand. And we kind of ran with it because it was like, oh, this is funny, and printed it on t-shirts. And then people loved it so much. So we were like, oh, our close friends, we're going to give them knee pad sleeves. And then everybody wanted a knee pad sleeve. So we're like, okay, here. And then it got to the point we like tired this guy out. He was like, I don't want to make knee pad sleeves anymore. So my mom started making armbands for everybody because she was like, that's easy enough. I can do that.
I admittedly am waiting for the snapback to come back into stock because I missed it the last time, because that is a sweet logo. So let me know when those are available again.
See, I got a custom one, sky blue bedazzled custom BSB snapback for me. It's fire.
Speaking of Sky Blue, I met her at Warrior Wrestling this past weekend, And I mentioned that, you know, I was interviewing you today, and she goes, I just love her. She beats the crap out of me all the time.
We've had so many matches, and it's like ridiculous because we both are like, okay, whatever.
That's awesome.
There was like one time we wrestled, it was up in Chicago, and I took a Code Red in the buckle, and everybody thought like I died. And I was like, no, I'm fine, guys. And I was like, no one's talking about how I gave this girl a tombstone on the floor, but me taking a Code Red in the buckle. Oh no.
I think that just has to do with the age thing. People like, oh, because I will ask one more age-related question, then I think, you know, we can get off of that, because like I said, I think you're super experienced, and I think people use that a lot. But does that, now I've lost my train of thought. So the age thing, how is that? Was there any challenges getting into, like, you know, because there's spots like that buckle spot, everybody's like, oh no, because there's a subset of wrestling fans that think you're too young to be doing this. But then, you know, if you're doing it the right way and you're doing it safely, I don't think the age thing should matter. Does that come up often?
I feel like it's slowed down a lot, and I have gotten older, but like when I first started wrestling, I got a lot of those comments, and still people are like, you should have waited till you're 18. And I'm like, well, my little brother does football, gets tackled, or he does basketball and he's tripping and falling on like literal like hardwood floor. And I was like, I am fine. I've been taught to do this, and I've been taught to do it properly. I have my parents' consent, and my parent is always with me. And I'm lucky enough, like, I still am on my parents' health insurance. If I get hurt, I'm great.
That's
if
true.
you as an adult get hurt, you have to pay for it.
It's good.
There you go.
You might be one of the few independent wrestlers with a health insurance policy.
Hey-o. Yeah, really, truly. Yeah, so I remember way back when CM Punk had his biography come out, he mentioned that, you know, when he was younger and he was getting into wrestling, that he at one point he thought he was really good, and then he got into the ring with Eddie Guerrero and he realized that he was not very good. Now, obviously, and again, I like Pluggo. I know your age gets harped on a lot. I don't want to talk about your age, but being someone who's only been wrestling for 3 or 4 years, like since your debut, at least 2018, 4 years, was there a moment where you stepped in the ring with somebody and you were like, oh, dang, like this person is really good. Like I need to, you know what I mean? Like I need to, like similar to what CM Punk was thinking, kind of like, I think I'm good. But then you fought someone and you were like, whoa, okay, that's a different level, you know?
I've definitely had that multiple times because, like, very early on in my career, I got a lot of opportunities to wrestle people better than me. Yeah. And, like, one of those matches were, like, definitely Kylie Ray. I wrestled her, like, my second year of wrestling, and I think she's one of the best wrestlers in North America. I was, like, almost awestruck. I was like, oh my God, I suck. Why am I in the ring with this lady right now? And I really, really want to wrestle her again because I feel like I've grown so much since then. And we would have a lot better match. And the first time we had one, we had like a very special moment. And I hold it at like my top 5 matches still to this day. And I want to have another one.
Oh, I bet.
Fantastic. I've said it publicly, and I said it to the guys in the chat. I think if you were doing any other sport, you'd be headline news on like ESPN because of that age. But enough about that. You mentioned health insurance. We got to air some business if you don't mind. I need to make sure my health insurance premiums are sound because I don't know, like we mentioned earlier, your buddy, Alex Kane, has told our boss, Spencer Love, that we are not to adhere to any budget restrictions. And we didn't want it to get to this, but he responded last week with a deathmatch wrestler out of Canada named Holden Albright saying that he wasn't going to have anybody messing with Spencer and we need to stay in line, essentially. So I didn't want it to get to this, JPJ. Billy, I'm sorry, gang warfare. You're on the show tonight. Sorry it had to be this way. From the Little Spoon Snatchers podcast, and Impact Wrestling superstar Sam Beal has a little response for Spencer Love. Play the clip.
Spencer. You didn't think your flagship show, Between Two Beards, was only gonna bring in the suplex assassin, Alex Kane. Nah, they hit up a buddy that's croc rockin', nickelback poppin', curls for all the girls from Impact Wrestling, the Perminator, Sam Beal. And I heard what your little friend Holden Albright had to say. He was over there chirping and derping and slurping or whatever it may be that he does. But you listen here and you listen to me real good. You let the boys blow the bank on whatever they need. Or I'm going to be bringing this business up front to the Love Wrestling. And I'm going to shut the whole joint down.
That's right.
Oh man.
So
You know,
yeah,
I have been thrown into the middle of this because Pluggo. Don't get me wrong, I love blowing budgets. I'm all on board with that. But Pluggo, he chirps a little too much, and I'm going to end up getting hurt.
I write a lot
because
of
of this
checks.
man.
I write a lot of checks my ass can't catch. Do you have any advice for me as I start this war?
Yeah, like not accepting a match against a deathmatch wrestler, probably when you're not a
Yeah.
performer. That's probably advice number one I would probably give you. But
Just keep running. Just keep running.
Oh, then I'm done. Running is
But
not.
wrestlers
my-
get blown faster. You'll be
You know.
fine.
You think
Oh,
so?
man.
I don't know
Yeah.
because I don't run a lot, but yeah. So for the brand, I was like, I'm gonna ride for my guys, and I said, you know what, I'll take him on, and I shouldn't have, so I had to call it a friend.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
It's
getting
okay.
distracted. My bunny was trying to get in the trash can.
Oh.
What?
Oh,
what's your-
my next question was going to not be wrestling related. It was going to ask,
there-
like, when you're not wrestling, what do you enjoy doing? But you have a pet bunny.
Oh yeah, I have a free roam bunny that
Okay.
just like hangs out in my room. He'll get in bed and cuddle with me at night.
Okay.
He's very loud and annoying, but I love him.
What is
His name is Thumper. Yes.
Okay.
I used
He's a
to
little
we,
demon.
one of my first shows here at Love Wrestling. I was doing my thing, and all of a sudden, my kid comes around with our pet bunny, and he's like, "Look at this!" And I was like, "Dude."
You have a pet
So,
bunny too?
We did. He passed away
Oh,
about a
I'm
month
sorry.
ago. So we are waiting until the weather kind of breaks and possibly getting another one. But yeah, bunnies are fun pets. It's kind of nice. They're pretty chill and they're easy to maintain. So that's cool.
See, mine's like a bully.
Oh,
He like he will so like if his water or food is not filled up, he immediately gets on the bed and will scratch at me until I go refill it. And I'm like, okay, I got you. But if I sleep past a certain time, I get the alarm clock bunny where he stomps. He'll just continue stomping until I give him attention. And then he does like little figure eights between my feet when I get up in the morning. And it's just like he's excited to see me, but I feel like he's purposely trying to trip over me.
Fair.
Tim,
Yeah.
come on.
Take it easy.
Well, okay, it depends on which David Arquette, because David Arquette, WCW days, couldn't wrestle a lick. David Arquette,
David
now-
Arquette, WCW days, was heavyweight champion of the world. Anyway, so I understand he couldn't wrestle. He was heavyweight champion of the world. Anyway, oh yeah, our buddy Ed. Any thoughts on blowing our budget tonight, Billy?
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Oh,
No,
don't
what?
say
What?
sorry.
It's
No,
not
you
your
gotta-
fault. We told you the price, and you said sure. The best
There it
part
is.
is it's not our money.
No, but what I did want to ask, obviously, is what are you into? What do you like doing? Any hobbies or just things you're super into outside of the wrestling world? Obviously, yeah. Like again, I'm not going to talk the age, but you're a younger person. Like, what are you into? What's kind of the stuff you're jiving with nowadays that has nothing to do with wrestling?
I'm a very artsy person, so I very much enjoy painting. I painted my door, and like I'm working on one side right now, and it's not done, and it's bugging the crap out of me. Um, and then I play like a lot of video games when I do have time at home.
Okay.
I love Call of Duty, but
All right.
I'm very like behind on it. I was like, I haven't even got to like touch this season.
Mhm.
And my friend made me play Fortnite the other day, and I found out I'm not terrible at Fortnite.
That's not bad.
But I still don't know how to feel about it. I'm like, I don't know. It gives
Yeah.
me off like this energy. I'm like, this is too childish.
Yeah, I'm a big gamer too. I never jumped on the Fortnite bandwagon that much. I played it. I'm okay. I'm not good at first person shooters. Multiplayers is not my.
My
I can
kids
hang, but I'm
love that
terrible.
game.
I'm
I
terrible.
hate it.
So
I
it's
can't-
like I'm not embarrassing to the point where I shouldn't even touch the controller, but I'm not
Mhm.
I'm not great.
I'm a very big first shooter person. I don't
First
know
person shooter,
why.
yeah.
The only like other games I do are like I've done Wonder Song, which was like a fun little story, and then I've done the Dead by Daylight
Okay.
because I just
Yeah.
enjoy like running around and like playing with friends.
Yeah.
Are you an online gamer? Are you when you're in that chat? Are you talking trash because you know you can take some of those
I'm
quote
so
unquote
bad about that.
gamers, or do
My
you
mom
just keep
like
it quiet?
mentioned my mom like mentioned like, oh, you should do like Twitch and like stream when you play, and I'm like, I can't. I would have a like she caught me one day because I was playing with one of my friends and we're playing. He shoots me and I just start cussing at him, blah blah blah. And she like hears it because I accidentally left my door open, and she was like, "Hey!" I was like, "Oh crap! I had my door open. I'll shut it." She goes, "That's not the right response."
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Well, those Twitch streamers kill it, so maybe you're onto something. You just,
It's true. It's
Uh,
true.
I
I
don't
mean,
think the world's prepared for that.
Big Starkz Gaming. I
that'd be
follow. There you
yeah.
go. You're welcome.
Just have different members of the Big Starkz brand on every night.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
that would be
That
that would gain some traction. That would gain some traction for
Just
sure.
some
People would
re-
watch that.
wrestlers.
People would watch that. Wrestlers just kind of shooting the shit, playing video games, having a good time.
Hey Spencer, I found a new show for you to get some of that money back.
All right, Pluggo. Continue, brother.
Continue.
Yeah.
Are we still on? I'm still waiting to get beat up.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Surprised we haven't been
Gonna happen.
fired.
I know.
So, oh my goodness, do we want to talk? How much do you stay up on the current product of today's wrestling? In the sense of like, do you watch the AEWs, the WWEs? Are you more says like independent wrestler? You focus solely kind of on the indies, or do you just how does that work from a wrestling standpoint? As a wrestler, what are you watching?
I watch backyard wrestling. I love backyard wrestling, and so many people think I'm crazy. Like I will watch all of like the highlights and clips from like all of the bigger like federations and all that jazz. But what I truly love is backyard wrestling. My like favorite wrestler is Matt Demores. Second, not like second, they're tied, is Millie McKenzie, and that's because I love just UK wrestling.
Okay.
And like the things I go to watch when I'm watching wrestling is like Progress. I love their product and I like steal stuff from there all the time. And then I will watch backyard wrestling because they do stuff that I just don't expect. And I'm like, this is great. Why doesn't anyone else do this? And then I remember they're literally like killing each other.
Yeah, literally. I was gonna say, unbelievable. Wow,
But a lot of but the thing with backyard wrestling is I know it gets a bad rap, but I think like recently there's been a resurgence on the indie scene where people are realizing like, hey, we can do this ourselves. Like the Young Bucks talked about it in their book, how they started in their parents' backyard. So I know people look down on that and think, yeah, they're killing themselves and they're not trained, but that's where a lot of these people start. You got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, and I think it's crazy because some of like the top indie wrestlers today were backyard wrestlers. Like Alex Zane, he was just signed to WWE and he was a backyard wrestler. And then Tony Deppen was a backyard wrestler. And there's so many more. Cole Radrick was a backyard wrestler. And I was like, this is like a lot of people who were on this circuit of backyard wrestling that just continued to grow and then find their way up.
Cole was just on the GCW Hammerstein Ball show. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
he's obviously doing something right now. Alex saying, like you said, he made it all the way to the WWE. So yeah, you're watching the ground from the ground up, literally. So
Yeah.
I made so ACH came into town the other day for a wrestling show for PPW, and he came over to our house because we picked him up from the airport, and I made this man sit down on the couch and watch backyard wrestling with me. And he made the joke that these were like our forefathers of wrestling. Like they paved the road, so they were walking, we were running.
That's
And I was like, I have never like made that connection, but I was like, this is so true.
Yeah. Did you have to twist his arm? Did you have to twist his arm to watch backyard wrestling at first, or was he pretty game?
No, he was pretty game. He was like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm down. And
All
then I think it made it better when I put on like good backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
There's this promotion called BXW, and it's my favorite thing. I go to their YouTube channel all the time, and there's this 4-way. I don't remember all the guys' names, but this kid does a 450 off a AC unit to like concrete, and I was like, oh my god. And then there's like 3 spots where they're all getting thrown on like a chain fence, and it's like the most horrible bumps I could ever like see. I'm like, yeah, I could literally do anything if these people lived from doing that.
It's true.
So
That's
it's
true.
probably incredibly hard for you to do this, being as like, and it's hard for me to do it just as a podcast personality. I don't know what I'd call me, but what wrestling do you watch purely as just a fan? You're not like analyzing like, oh, that move was a botch, or oh, they missed the spot. What, like, you're sitting down after you get off of this show and you're going to put something on just strictly as a fan and like zone out. What are you going for?
It's backyard wrestling.
Is it
'cause
backyard?
It's so unexpected. So I don't have the chance as like my wrestling brain to analyze it. So I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what's gonna happen next. So I'm like, oh, I can't like, my brain physically can't be like, oh wait, what's this? Or I should pick this apart. No, I am just purely on a thrill ride. I'm on the roller coaster of backyard wrestling.
That's awesome.
For me,
I'm gonna have to
it's
start
old
watching some more
school.
backyard wrestling.
It's like old school
See?
WCW because it was so off the wall, like the 2000s WCW. That's where I just go, I don't even care. They weren't. I'm not going to sit here and analyze this. I just want to zone out and watch it.
I can understand that, but I still feel like there's moments where like they'll do a fancy chain and stuff like that, where I'm like, oh, as a wrestler, I'm like, oh, that was cool. Go back, and I'll watch it like 3 more times, and my family's in the living room, and they're like, leave the TV alone, just let it play.
We have our friend Bobby in the chat. He says that he really liked your match against Roxy at New Texas Pro Wrestling. So I wanted to throw that on there. And he actually had a question a little bit earlier where he asked, who is your dream opponent in NWA and or AEW? I'm sure you might have wrestled some people already that might even be on those rosters already. But, you know, if you could have a dream opponent on either one of those shows or one from each of those shows, who would those be?
Guy Hook, I don't know why, but Hook has caught my attention, and I want to wrestle
I
him.
love Hook.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
We are Hook fans, Hook stands here, as they say. So, hey, buddy,
I lost it the other day because Brainbuster posted a picture of him wearing a shirt where I'm giving, I think it was Roxy. It was Roxy or Sky giving like the pile driver, and I was like, let's go.
You're like,
I am on the record of saying I don't think you can be a professional wrestling fan if you don't have a slight crush on Hook. Oh, that dude, so good.
He's awesome. He's wrestled like 4 times, and he's arguably like one of the top stars in the company already.
So Tony Khan watches the show because we spend so much money. Book Hook for Billie Starkz. Let's go.
Yeah, make it happen. Make it happen. Let's do it.
Done. Get it done. We will
Yeah.
retweet that to the moon, as they say.
And if I was to wrestle a woman, I think it would be Thunder Rosa. I've never been able to step in the ring with her, and I feel like she's so good at what she does.
Yeah, she's awesome. The pops that she get, like she's not even like she's positioned in a way where she's just Thunder Rosa, so she's awesome, and she's near the top of the card. But like even when she's not doing anything particularly like important in the show's structure, the pop that she gets every time her music hits is like gigantic because everyone just knows that she rules. Everyone's like, "This is Thunder Rosa. She's a badass. We all love her. Yeah, Thunder Rosa. Like, yeah, she's awesome."
And Billy, you get those pops on the indices because everybody knows Billie Starkz is here. Some stuff's about to go down.
Yeah.
And Thunder Rosa's a great person too. So it would be she does a lot for the independent scene. So I'm sure you could work that out. I'm sure we could get that done. The three of us. We'll make
yeah, I mean, yeah, we have all the pull.
We have so much pull,
We'll steal more of Spencer's money. He can
exactly. That's what we're doing. We're just getting the wrestlers we're booking the territory, brother. We're getting wrestlers to talk crap about each other that are in different companies. The Forbidden Door is here at Love Wrestling too.
What I love about it is everybody is just so willing to spend that man's money. They just they're just like, fine.
Look at everyone is so willing to spend money that isn't theirs. You're like, oh, I can just spend this money. I have nothing work. Yeah, okay. If someone just gave you money that wasn't yours and said, Pluggo, go ahead, you do it too.
Well, we gotta play it. Josh Robinson is in the chat. Oh, hello to Big Ben is angry. Welcome to the chat, my friend. But our buddy Josh is here. And we have a weekly segment on this show called Josh Robinson Unhinged.
Oh, no.
Sorry again. You didn't know what show you got booked on.
I know, yeah. No, but I believe it talks about the Royal Rumble this week because obviously Saturday is the Royal Rumble. That's one of the most important events of the year in the WWE calendar. So I believe Josh gets a little unhinged about the Royal Rumble.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Play the clip.
Look, I'm recording this way, guys. I'm the World Heavyweight Champion, as you can see. Super Showdown. I just want to say this is not going to be a rant. It's not going to be very long. I just want to personally say I hope you enjoy the Royal Rumble this year. It is truly one of the best events of the entire year. Stay off the internet if you want to. Avoid spoilers because it's the best thing in the world when you can just be surprised by the Royal Rumble. Enjoy it, live through it, love it, and hopefully you have some friends with you or some family or some loved ones or whatever that can really help you enjoy the Royal Rumble. But from me to you, I hope you enjoy the Royal Rumble this year. I hope your favorites win or don't. But, let's all collectively just not overanalyze, not get too deep into things. Let's just enjoy the Royal Rumble. It is truly, truly the best pay-per-view of the entire year, at least on WWE scale, and just from an excitement scale and everything like that, it's Rumble, Rumble, Rumble. So I just wanted to say that this week. I love you all very much. Goodbye. Mwah.
That was pretty good.
That was good. It was nice.
That was nice, Josh. Yeah, that was nice.
I was very confused. I expected more anger and violence, and he was very calm and chill.
Yeah, he was very, very happy. I mean, it's Royal Rumble week.
He had a good week. He had a good week. He's got a lot of things going. I
got some good stuff going on. So
I feel like you guys lied to me. You said unhinged. I feel
that's
like
the name of the segment.
Hinged.
That's the name of the. Yeah, as Josh says, he's a chill boy. He's a chill boy.
When he decides to go super unhinged, it's a work of art. He was tame today. Josh, you let Billy down. We got to step it up next week, buddy. I love that he told me not to overanalyze the Royal Rumble the week I write a power rankings for the Women's Royal Rumble, but thanks, Josh. I'll try my best. So, Billy, inquiring minds want to know, are you entering the 2022 Royal Rumble?
Oh, not yet. You have to wait till 2023. We'll say 2023, maybe.
Oh.
Is that a prediction or a spoiler?
I will hold out hope there. I know you said when you're watching when you watch wrestling nowadays, you don't watch you keep up with the bigger companies, but you don't really watch, you watch the backyard wrestling and some of the independents and Progress and things like that. But if we were to put you on the spot and ask you who you think is going to win We'll go with the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Who would you pick? Who you got leading the clubhouse for you?
Ooh. I think Shotzi. I'm a big supporter of Shotzi, and
cool.
I have all the hope in her because I feel like she has like the chance, but she's also kind of like the lone wolf out of the group, where I feel like she could come out of nowhere and win.
Yeah, and that would be. I feel like it's been a while since like WWE has done like something, gone outside the box, done something new like that. And like the Royal Rumble, at least when and it's still to an extent, like they did it with Bianca last year. That was someone new that everyone was excited about. I personally think Bianca might win it again and go back to, I almost said Beyonce. Bianca might win it again and go back to back. But
they could, but I feel like that's too predictable.
That's probably the only reason why I'm like, well, I mean, so going into it, I was like, okay, I don't know who's going to win. I'm like, Bailey returning and winning would be, Bailey's my favorite. Like, I love Bailey. I love heel Bailey, old school hugger Bailey. I'm
heel
a Bailey
Bailey
mark.
just is too soccer mom for me. I don't like the hair.
Fair. The hair, yeah. I just think
she's turned into a soccer mom for sure. At first, it was like, okay, I see.
Yeah,
but
and we have Bobby just said he's picking Liv Morgan. That's another really good.
And real quick, get your Rumble picks in. Get your questions for Billy. We have the hard hour tonight.
We got about another
because of Quizplex.
Yeah,
and if you guys don't shoot a bunch of questions, we're just gonna rank ice cream flavors. That's what's gonna happen.
I mean, I would have had an ice cream flavor draft like you dream about.
You want to? We could put it on the spot.
Here,
ice cream flavor draft.
Switch it on you guys. I'm going to switch it on you.
Okay.
And ask what your favorite movie is.
Favorite movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Nobody's ever done that to us.
I know. I like this. But we want to thank the people from Fightful. They just rated us, so we appreciate that. So thank you very much, Fightful rating us.
Shout out Steven Jensen and
thank
Joe
you guys
Paul
for hopping in.
Nice
we are with Billie Starkz. We got about another 10 minutes or so. She just flipped the script on us.
So I have to just to stay on brand. Cool Runnings.
That's not true. She's not going to know what that means.
We did a Disney movie draft.
I know the movie, but like you don't know why. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we did a Disney movie draft, and I took him number 2 overall, and Spencer lost his mind.
He was like second round pick.
He almost
second round pick.
Me.
Cool Runnings, Disney movie, second round pick. Pluggo was like, yeah. And it's like we as you can tell, we keep running gags on this show, going literally as long as we can. So that was like very early on. We had that Disney draft, like very early on. And we still talk about it regularly. Okay,
never dies.
No, never.
That's just beat it like a dead horse and keep it
so
going.
my favorite movie of all time is The Sandlot. That's my at least that was my, it's okay. That was my favorite movie when I was a kid. That was my favorite movie when I was a kid, and it still probably is. I have obviously other ones like Superbad is a very important, like high up. The Big Lebowski actually that just comment, that's another one that is high up there for me. But yeah, I'm one of those few remaining old curmudgeon-y baseball fans that exist still. So The Sandlot with the kids and just that type of summer baseball feel was right up my alley.
This is gonna sound like a cop-out answer. I don't have like a favorite movie, but I have like favorite movies in certain like moods that I may be in. Like I have a go-to list of kind of like, I love the Mighty Ducks trilogy. I think that's the greatest. I'm not even making that up. Like I legit watch.
They're fire.
I would watch those every day.
Yeah.
Another good movie that I like when I'm just is American Gangster with
very good. Denzel and Russell Crowe.
Denzel and Russell Crowe. That's a great one. Like just I have different movies for sports movies. Like I'm from South Bend, Indiana. Rudy is like up there for me. So every football season you got to watch Rudy. You know, I'm all over the place. I love anything Kevin Smith has ever made. So like the Jay and Silent Bob movies, Chasing Amy, Clerks, kind of all that.
Another favorite of mine,
Coach Carter.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is very in my top. Always rotating.
I have not watched it yet, and I want to.
You gotta watch
on my Netflix like watch list, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it, and I just haven't had time.
If and when you get around to that, I need to know your opinion immediately after you watch it because that is an all-timer. Scott Pilgrim. Love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So good. The soundtrack, unbelievable. One of the best movie
Between Two
soundtracks.
Beards with Billie Starkz 2, the Scott Pilgrim watch along.
Yeah, we'll do the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World watch along.
What's
or
your
the
What's
review.
your favorite
We'll do the review.
movie? Then,
Yeah.
like, you put
How about
us on
that?
the spot.
My favorite movie is Heathers. It's like the 90s movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. My boyfriend thinks I'm crazy, and so does like my family. They're like, "Why is this your favorite movie?" And I was like, "Because it's amazing." And I just love everything about it, and I don't
That
know why.
Winona Ryder, right? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Okay, yeah.
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 And
I
then
remember
like
that
my
movie.
second favorite is probably Breakfast Club. Like it's a great,
amazing.
yeah. So those are like my top two, and then
Alex
I
is-
will put like Ready Player One as like my third, because I just felt like it was a very like cool graphic movie, and I was like, this is awesome.
I
There
never
you
saw I never saw the Ready Player One, so I'll have to watch that just like you have to watch Scott Pilgrim. That'll be my
the-
We have
homework.
a list now.
Yeah, my homework will be watching Ready Player One. That's my homework. But
80s and 90s movies were where it was at. They were so off the wall.
I mean,
Breakfast Club is phenomenal. Like
Oh my
Weird
God.
Science, I love that.
I
Back
watched
to the
that other
Future.
day.
you watch Weird
Yes.
Science the other day? Weird Science is good.
Yes.
That's a good. That
I
whole,
wasn't expecting the movie to be good because like my dad loves like certain movies, and I'm like, okay, I don't know about your taste, sir, but I'll try it.
no,
Hopefully
but-
he never, you tell him like, look, you got to get in the know, you got to get in the mix, you got to broaden your horizons. That's what I tell my kids, and I tell my dad. I'm like, it's like when he was alive, I said, you got to broaden your horizons, Dad. But I think that's where we all define ourselves as like, oh, that's not your cup of tea. Well, it's mine now.
Yeah. Oh, the Rush Hour movies are great. That's a good call.
Rush
out,
Hour
man. Those
is
Rush Hour, the
really
first two
good.
specifically are good.
Oh, man.
See, we could have had a whole hour episode
could've.
talking about movies. You know what I'm saying?
We
But,
should have just sold it as that, but you gave us a lot of dynamite insight on the independent scene. You told us you're going to enter the 2023 Royal Rumble.
mark it down.
So we're marking that down. We're putting that out there into the world. Vince McMahon, if you're listening, signer.
He's gonna purposely not do it. He said, "You told the world you're supposed to wait."
I do have one more wrestling related question before we let you plug all your stuff and get all of our plugs out of the way, because
we got Joel that said he's pre-writing the article for Fightful right now. So
there you go. Breaking news here between two birds. You can't fire us now, Spenny. We're dropping nuggets. Your career has reached the heights it's reached already. You've done quite a few things that I think most independent wrestlers would probably go, hell yeah, that's a great career. What is the next step for Billie Starkz? Like, where do you see yourself going in the next couple years? Or are you just kind of like, let's just see what happens and roll with it?
So
Or do you have a goal?
I every year set some goals for myself, and like I'm slowly like knocking them out as I go. But I still am in school, and I do plan on going to college. I'm doing college visits soon.
oh, where?
I don't want
Any big time schools or anything?
I don't know yet. I'm just like, I don't know where I want to go, but I was thinking maybe University of Kentucky.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's just close, and it takes in-state tuition, and I already have Keys money, which is like Kentucky education money. I have a bunch of that, and then I can get a few scholarships because I have good grades.
Good.
Woo. But
she's like, yeah, good grades. Yes.
Nerd.
Cool.
I'm just kidding. No, have a backup plan, people. That's smart.
Correct.
Don't knock
Correct.
it. That's good.
I will say this. I made a promise to my mother. I think she just like conned me into it. I was too young to understand what I was promising. But I was like, if you pay for wrestling school, I'll go to college. And wrestling school came early, so now I'm stuck going to college.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are.
Has there ever been a situation where mom's like, listen, you can't go wrestle Deonna Purrazzo this week unless some grades get up?
See, I've never had like bad grades, so it's always been like, okay, yeah, you're good. Just keep up being a good kid. I'm very lucky that school is very easy for me. But like I am in all AP and IB classes, IB's like college classes,
Mhm.
and I'm just trying to knock it all out so I can get out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I bet. You know, that's where you and I differ because I was not good in school. No, I was all right. I was average, average at best. But you know, it is
I'm
what
not
it
even. I'm gonna plead the fifth
is.
on my schooling. That might
All
be
right.
for another day. But
Yeah,
Billy,
right.
honestly, this was an honor for both of us. Like
Sure
I said,
was.
I'm so excited to get you on the show and just talk about where you've gone since the last time I talked to you about wrestling. So this was fun, and we talked about ice cream and bunnies. So here's your chance. Plug away what you got going on, what you got coming up, where the people can find you.
So all my social media is at Billie Starkz, BILLIE, and then Starkz ends with a Z. And if you want to check out some merchandise, it's at bigstarksbrand.com. It's also linked in my Twitter bio. I, of course, have the match coming up with Deonna Purrazzo at Wrestling Revolver in Iowa, which Swerve Strickland is on, and so is Ruby
Mhm.
Riot. So it's a
Mhm.
great show. If you're able to come, you should definitely come. I have more shows coming up, and if you would like to check them out, that would be amazing. I announce what I'm up to all the time on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. And then I also have a match that's being streamed tonight from YouTube, I believe, of me and Gary J at St. Louis Anarchy. If
Nice.
after this you want to go watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody go do that.
And Spencer, we'll take some tickets to that show upcoming here. Like,
Yeah,
let's go.
please.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
That
It's
sounds
in the
delightful.
contract.
Yeah. But like as Pluggo said, oh, thank you, Bobby. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
that
guys.
compliment. As Pluggo said, it was truly we were super excited when we knew that you were coming on, and this has been a lot of fun, and hopefully we can have you on again sometime soon.
We
But
might
yeah.
need you to threaten Spencer for us.
Yeah,
Just
maybe
saying,
we might be.
just saying.
Yeah,
We might
you
hit
know,
you
down
up.
in the future, we might be
I
like,
don't
"Hey, can you?"
know. I'm
Yeah,
not
I know.
getting involved.
That's true.
Uh-oh.
That's true. It's probably for the best.
Neutral.
It's
Team
probably for the best.
Switzerland over here. Okay.
But
I'll
definitely
fight
hang
my
on. Definitely hang on this channel if you're in the chat or you're just watching. Hang on, because starting at 9:00 right on this channel, we have our monthly trivia show, Quizplex, here on Love Wrestling. So definitely stay tuned for that. But as Pluggo said, and as I said, thank you again, Billy, for hopping on here. This was a very fun conversation, kind of talking about wrestling and all sorts of other things. So we thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. And like I said, hopefully we can do this again sometime in the future.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I had fun.
Awesome. We're glad.
Don't forget to plug our shit, dude. Our
Well,
stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going. Potty mouth. You save it.
I gotta pay these
The
bills,
worst.
dude. You know how much
The worst.
You know how much
He is
everybody-
Pluggo. You can find him on Pluggo. What is it? Pluggo _ correct
Yes,
on the
it's
Twitter?
Pluggo. It's at Pluggo _ I should probably put something after the underscore, but it is what it is for now.
Yeah. You can find me at Joseph _ Poulin Jr. On the Twitter machine. But you can find us here on Love Wrestling doing this thing every Thursday night at 8 p.m. We will be back here, hopefully, if Spencer allows it, next Thursday. But yeah, until then, stay tuned for Quizplex coming on right after us. And like I said, until then,
buy our merch.
Yes. What a maneuver. Buy
Tim,
our merch.
Tim, the show starts at 8 now.
It does. All right.
Till
Billy,
next
thank
week.
you again. Next week, we'll see you guys. But until then, peace out.